Hello, today I'm here to show you how to take apart your Zeraxa 2.0 miniature drone from RadioShack. This is important in case you have to do any type of maintenance. In my case, the back right propeller is not spinning, and that's because the gear fell off inside of it. This is the second time it happened. It took about a month for the first gear to fall off. And then I had a little miniature crash in the backyard and the gear fell off again. But I decided to actually film this time to show you how to maintenance and access the inside of your drone. It's actually pretty simple once you find out. It's just there are a lot of screws. But I already kind of started the process, so I'll just kind of fill you in really quick on what I did to get to this point. First thing you want to do is unplug your camera and slide it straight off the back. That's pretty simple. And once you do that, you're going to open up your battery cartridge as you normally would, and you're going to slide the battery out from the inside. We're going to lay that to the side. Once you've done that, you're going to unscrew each propeller off. And that's really simple because they just have one screw in the middle. So you're going to take a really small screwdriver like this, unscrew each one. I like to keep the screws in them just to keep me from losing them. And then I just put all four propellers to the side. And so the top of the drone will look like this. And then if we flip it back over, put the salt door down, you're going to want to take off the two stands that typically sit on either side of the drone, and each of them have two screws with washers in there. You can use the same mini screwdriver. You're just going to screw those out, keep the screws in them, and set the arms aside. Once you've done that, your drone is going to look exactly like this. And so there's a screw on each end here and here. There are two screws on either side of the door. There's a screw on each corner, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there are 3 screws on each arm, 2 in the back and 1 in the very front, which you probably can't see, but it's in there. I typically use a flashlight or the light from my phone to kind of see into these holes so that I can unscrew it. And when you unscrew those, you're going to need a really, really small screwdriver, like this one. This is a flathead. The screws are Phillips, but this will work. I'm trying to zoom in there. It's a little difficult, but as you can see, it's a flathead screwdriver. And I got them out of just a really cheap eyeglass case from the drugstore. And that's what you're going to use to go in there and take the screws out. And when you take the screws out, you can put them in a bowl or just sit them inside a rubber band like I did here so that you won't lose them on the floor because they're kind of hard to find. But there should be 22 screws total to undo that, which is the part that I'm doing right now. I have a few more to take out, and then I'll tell you about the next step, which is a little tricky but really important to actually get inside of the drone. Okay, so all of the screws are out. There are 5 of them that won't totally come out with the magnet, but they are loosened. So when you grab each of the ends, you should be able to separate them like that. But you'll notice that the drone doesn't immediately come apart because there's one screw underneath each of the lights on the bottom. So that's what we have to get to, and I'm going to show you how to pop the lights out so you can get to the bottom screw. So what I'm going to do right now is twist the arm so that this little top plastic part will pop off, and it should look like this. It'll probably pop off kind of far. There we go. And what you'll see underneath is the actual light, which I also have here, and it's pretty easy. You can just kind of finagle it with your hand and pop it out. And there's one little screw that's going to lead us inside the drone. Once you take the screws from under the lights, it should look like this. now you're ready to pop the drone apart. This is the inside of the drone, fully disassembled, and on each end of the arm is a gear underneath here. And to see the inside of the gear, you would just slide up this arm here and gently pull it from out. Now, as you can see in the arm that where the propeller was not moving, there's a little gear that fell on the bottom, and that's not right. There should be a gear right here on the end of this steel plate, which, as you can see in a good ear, is connected right here. And that's what makes sure that the propeller rotates when you turn your drone on. So we're going to want to put that little guy back on. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So this is the gear after I have replaced it. And as you can see, the middle of the pole is sticking up slightly above the gear. And your drone probably has a gear issue too if you hear a little bit of rattling once the propeller stops working. If there's rattling in there, then a gear or something probably fell off. Sometimes the motor may go out and you have to get a replacement motor as well. But in this case, the gear is replaced, so we can start putting the drone back together. Make sure that when you place the gears back inside that it's level. The white circle right here is going to need to fit into those black levers that you see right there. And then there's also a small hole right there that has to fit back into the handle of the gear. So make sure it's level so that it sits all the way down and it's not popping up or lopsided. So next you want to snap both sides of the drone back together, and then we're going to replace our screws underneath the lights. So once you put the screws in and set the lights back on the track, you want to replace the light covers this way, and then you just want to push down, snap it back in, and do that on the rest of them. Go in and snap. So now you can replace all of the screws on the body of the drone, which it should be 22 of them. And make sure when you're in the middle that you replace the screws on the inside and not the outside, because the outside holes are for the stand. And once you screw the body together, you can put the 2 feet back on, and then your propellers, your battery, and the camera. Alright, so all of the screws have been replaced. The battery and the camera is back underneath, and the propellers are screwed in. So once you've put your drone back together, you can switch to the on position, and if everything's connected correctly, your lights should come on and it should work. Now it's time to take it outside for a spin and make sure all 4 propellers are up and ready to go. Alright, so the drone is now on, and let's see if the propellers work. Alright, quick lift up. And we're all systems go.